Denny Blanco, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing this evening? How's everything going with you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Always good to see you. We are on the heels of the 2025 All-Star weekend. Um it happened. Things happened. And now we move right towards the second half of the NBA season. You can follow Denny Blanco on social media at Sir Denny Blanco. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, all that good stuff. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, letter JCRUZ. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Go to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. So, Denny Blanco, as I mentioned, all-Star weekend is come and gone. We got the games, dunk contest, three-point shootout, all that good stuff. Where do you want to start? Because I think this is something that you've been telling me you want to tackle on NBA All-Star weekend. If it worked, didn't work, and how do you look forward to next year, buddy?
What's the point of the actual game if we're not able to see 48 minutes
Mm-hmm.
of the players that you voted in as all-stars? If you break down the actual minutes of the players that played in the game, I think what Jalen Brunson played only a couple of minutes. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't even break a sweat. Obviously, folks don't want to get injured. However, when it comes to competition, it's clearly removed from the All-Star game. I don't know why. I'm confused as to where this I don't even know how to describe it. This softness, this bitch assness. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's just I'm trying to put my finger on it, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't land on anything substantial. You talk about the 3-point contest. Steph's well, let's just go back a little bit. The skills competition,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Oh,
it
you
being
want to
a
start there?
well, let's back up because there's a lot to go through. It was a weekend, and the concept is you want to showcase over the weekend the best of the best, your best players, your best 3-point shooters, your best skills players, etc. So you start off with the skill challenge, and you have guys not competing against each other. They used to have a skills challenge where they actually competed at the same time. They raced against the clock. That was better. This is different where you just have the one team go, and obviously you have some cheating going on with San Antonio. You have that move forward. You go into the 3-point shooting contest. Steph doesn't even want to even compete. That tells you everything you need to know. I would have respected it if Steph actually competed, but actually shot 2 steps behind the 3-point line.
That's right. When half court, half
If
court.
I mean, if anything, I'd have been like, "Yo, nah, move the rack back." You feel me? Like
Mhm.
that would have been sexy if he just was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna compete, and then he just moved the racks back on each side and extend the shot. But
Mhm.
he didn't compete in his own hometown, and obviously Tyler Hero wins that convincingly. And then you have the dunk contest with a bunch of misses, a bunch
Mhm.
of bricks, throwing the ball over the rim, throwing the ball into the stands. It was it was the most terrible. It was just a terrible display of entertainment value I've seen ever in my goddamn life.
Wow, that bad?
Shout out to McClung who saved the dunk contest. Shout out to him. It looked like he actually put forth some effort into thinking into his dunks versus some of these other gentlemen
Mhm.
in the dunk contest. The dunk contest was piss poor, obviously, like I said, until McClung, who obviously knows how to put on a show when it comes to dunking, three-time champion, God bless him. And then you come to the game where, for me, game starts. I'm like, all right, let me give this an opportunity. And let me put you into the mind of where I was at. Randy, okay, I'm trying to give this an opportunity. You know, sometimes I can be a pessimist to detriment of a lot of people around me. So I was trying to be optimistic. Okay. Ernie Johnson comes out. They start the show. Okay. We get the players on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Kevin Hart comes out.
Yeah.
Why? What? I was glitching because I was just like,
Because he was a guest host, I think.
I was glitching because I was like, what for what? We already have a bunch of people speaking already.
Yeah.
We had Reggie, we had I mean we had like eight or nine people speaking before that, maybe 4 or 5. Why did we need Kevin Hart to come into the picture? Okay, he comes into the picture. They start playing the game. Then they start talking again in the middle of the game. I'm like, wait, what are you doing? These
Yeah.
players are trying to get into a rhythm, and here you go talking about buffoonery during the game, trying to muck it. I don't know what you're trying to do. Make it funny and make it more entertaining than it already should be. We're looking to hit it. We're actually looking to see basketball. We're looking to see guys go up against each other. I want to see people get crossed over. I want to see people get a jump shot in
Mm-hmm.
their face. I want to see some rebounding, guys getting thrown to the floor. I want to see competition. That's not what I saw. And I don't blame the players because at this point, they're looking around. SGA, he damn near
Yeah.
said everything.
He was he was tight.
He said everything except Daniel. Shut the fuck up and let's play, please. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Can we just please play? I don't understand. Let's go. Let's go. After a couple minutes, I was like, yeah, these guys ain't. It ain't even what it's supposed to be. Um, this format was a great attempt by Adam Silver
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the All-Star game to, change it up a little bit, but go back to the original and actually possibly expand the teams. Go back to East and West, but this right here ain't gonna cut it.
Um, that was a lot.
The weekend was a lot.
The weekend was a lot. I I did not see All Star Saturday live. All I caught up on was the dunk contest. I saw whatever Wemby and Chris Paul was trying to accomplish in the skills challenge. Um, yeah, I think Donovan and Mobley won that. Am I wrong? You're right.
Possibly. I tuned
Um,
out. I tuned out after. I'm just keeping it 1,000. Like I was just like, yo, this is not
um, I saw
entertaining.
that. Then the 3-point contest I did not see live, so I wouldn't mind going back and checking out the final round and and all that. Dunk contest I saw it when I got home. The All Star Sunday, um, again I went into it with a positive mindset, thinking, hey, maybe this might work. It's gonna be something cool, something different, because the bottom line is we wouldn't be here if the players took the game serious. And the blame can go left, right, north, south. It's a lot of people involved. Um, and to get the players to play hard, to show effort. I know it's All Star Weekend. Couple of days you wanted to have off, spend time with family, go on a little vacation, but you're here. You got voted in by the fans. You got selected by the All Star coaches to be here and put on the best maximum effort you can for an NBA All Star game. So I'm watching now. It's All Star games, plural now. many, many games. And I bet. Listen, to because I got Kris waiting. So real quick, I don't think it's, and I'll come back to it. I don't think this year was not about. If you say, "Hey, why didn't you like it? What went bad?" You can't really put the blame on the players this year. And I tell you why. I think this one was too much outside of the basketball that engulfed All-Star Sunday.
It was too much control on the
It was
outside.
too much entertainment. It was too much of the interviews, the stoppages, the commercials, the the 17-minute tribute to TNT while the players just are getting in a groove for the championship game. Um, yes, breaking news. This was TNT's final NBA All-Star game. Cool, great. We're going on to NBC next year, and I felt like it was more about TNT and the production
There you go. There you
than about
go.
the actual basketball. So my thing is
There you
this:
go.
you did get some effort in these games. I'm not saying 100,000%, but there was some more effort being showed in
But
these games. And because you're making that face, the second game, when the sophomores, the rookies, whichever team it was, they made the OGs play hard. That game was probably the best game of showing the effort. Now the games prior, hold on, I'll let you speak. Right, the game prior and the game after, it was a little less effort, but the middle game was the better effort. All I'm saying is, if we're gonna knock Sunday, talk about the other bullshit that happened and not basketball. Because what I see right on my screen, and I bet you don't know this stat. You probably seen it around. 42 minutes of actual basketball was played in a 3-hour All-Star game broadcast. Intro with ads, half hour. Pre-game talk, 10 minutes. And I understand that. It's more money involved. It's the sponsors, the corporate people. But then now, what's up? You want the basketball? Or you want a corporate game, a corporate league game? The Kenny Chuck game, 12 minutes. Then Mr. Beast giving out 100,000 out of nowhere for 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh shit, oh that wasn't on the itinerary, really? Okay, like no one knew what was going on. Nobody knew that was happening, and I'm happy for the kid because he has 100,000 more than I do right now. But I'm saying it just like, where did that come from? All right, next, Shaq, Rising Stars, 16 minutes, the best game of the night. Then we get a musical performance, which happens every All-Star game, which I don't mind that. If it was the game, halftime performance, put the game back on like old school, 6 minutes. Then the inside the NBA tribute, 10 minutes. All right. Chuck and Shaq game, 14 minutes, the championship game. Post game, 6. All the post other shit, 22 minutes. So we had 42 minutes of actual basketball in a 3-hour broadcast. And that, I think, was the main issue and the main problem for All-Star Sunday. It wasn't about the basketball. It wasn't really about the new format. It was just Steph, according to Steph, this was his idea. So I ain't gonna totally shit on it. I think there was some emotion about it. LeBron backed out last minute.
Listen, before we get to our guests,
Yeah.
48. Go back to 48 minutes. Number one and number two. You just mentioned LeBron.
Like you said, you wanted 48 minutes of basketball, right? And you got 42 in 3 hours.
I want 48 minutes of basketball. Go back to East and West and things like LeBron James, LBJ, my man, 50 grand, all that, bruv.
But
this is what we mean. Like, what we should do is you get voted into All-Star game.
Yes.
There should be a conversation, tap on the shoulder, like Adam Silver tap. Like, yo, you really gonna play? Because if you don't, we'll just get somebody else. Like,
exactly,
Bron. Like, you could have say, yo, I like, not honestly, like, yo, I'll take the week off. Like, I need the weekend. I already got 20 under. I got 19 under me already. All-Star games. 19. I've done them all. You know what? Let the young whippersnappers go. Like, take a step to the side and watch for the weekend.
Yeah.
And let somebody else come in. Norman Powell. I mean, he could have been an all-star.
Yeah, it could have been. Should have been.
He could have been an all-star, LeBron. Like, you give him, you just don't. Didn't they say Giannis was supposed to play? He did.
Yeah,
and let Trae Young play.
They brought in Trae Young, and then the Ant-Man didn't. I was like, oh, I'm watching the first game.
Yeah, I thought Ant-Man was going to play.
Where Ant-Man at?
Right, I thought Ant-Man was going to play, and then it's like, oh, nah, he chilling. I'm like, for all that, somebody else should have been playing in his plays. Like, show up and then have somebody else play and make it competitive. Back to the East and West, make it like, yo, listen, if you
Yeah.
I want some. I want to see Kate Cunningham cook. This is the one of the only opportunities nationally,
Yeah.
a national televised game where you get to see players that you didn't know about, like a Cade Cunningham that's cooking this year. Like a lot of people don't really pay attention to the teams that are not in the top three or top four, etc. Your
Mhm.
Lakers, your Knicks, your Bucks, your Boston Celtics, your Lakers. It's just these are the things that you need to straighten
Yeah.
out if you're trying to keep the entertainment value high.
It's crazy. If you're watching us live on YouTube and Twitter, thank you. We appreciate you. Any questions, comments, feedback about All Star Weekend, hit us up in the chat. Gonna get my man Chris. What's up, my man? How you doing?
How we doing, y'all? Appreciate you having me on.
Listen, man, I did not want to butcher your last name, so I'll let you say it for the people, just in case. I ain't trying to mess it up.
Pursianen. I appreciate you.
Pursianen. Okay, wow.
Pursianen, hit it.
And you are from Clutch Points, right?
Yes, sir. NBA for Clutch Points. I also cut tape and I produce at Infinity Sports Network and WFAN.
Oh, man, you're a Swiss Army knife.
I work for CBS Sports during the NFL regular season.
Nice.
And then, I got the All Things NBA pod with Ball is Life and Knicks Film School. So we here.
Super producer.
Listen, man, first of
Chris.
all, welcome to the show. I know we've been trying to get you on for quite some time. And I figure, there's no NBA until I think Wednesday or Thursday. I think Wednesday. Got a few days before the second half of the season begins, but we got to go through All-Star Weekend first. So I want to get your thoughts about the entire All-Star Weekend. What stood out to you from a positive standpoint and from a negative standpoint?
Yeah, great question, because I think right now there's so much desperation for reaction that it's like an album review that's dropping 30 minutes after midnight when the album's an hour long. I feel like people really let the product simmer, marinate in their brains before ripping out hot takes. So for me, it's like, hey, I crapped on the format. I was very harsh against the format. But when I look back on it, if I get over my personal gripes, I think it was a step. Now, they have to make sure by following up in the proper ways that they paint it as a step in the right direction. If they follow up in the right ways, it was a step in the right direction. If they follow up on these changes and they don't make the fixes that the fans are clamoring for example, do we know just like how those players were prepared for the amount of time that would elapse in between games? Like,
no.
Do we know that they knew that there was going to be a halftime show in a game with no clock? Like, how do y'all got a halftime show in a game with no halftime? What? So it's like, for me, the format, I hated the format. I don't anymore. My biggest problem was honestly the fact that they thought we were stupid. And what do I mean by that? I think the NBA figured either the fans were too stupid to notice, or if they did, they wouldn't care. When you sell the draft as a live draft, WWE, like they don't have like a sign on every billboard that says this is scripted. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
The NBA, when the drafts are live, the expectation from the customer, from the market, from the industry is that the picks are not predetermined. And then you see two starters get taken with the last two picks by one team. You see every international player end up on that team, and then the two starters to balance it out that were remaining. You see every old head on the back nine on one team. All the rest of the people, they called them the young guns. Brunson's 28 on that team. That was the young gun team, right? That was clearly pre-planned. So tell us that. Tell us, you know what? Y'all voted, the fans voted, the coaches voted, the players voted. Now it's up to us. We're going to do it like Four Nations. Four Nations just made the teams. We're just going to make the teams. But they tried to act like we were stupid. and slip it by us. And they said, this is a live draft, an organic draft, a live televised draft. And then the three of them had clearly planned their picks beforehand so that they'd end up with all the right teams. Also, objectively funny note, that Team Shaq didn't have a single center because he hates all of them. Like, this worked out great, for them. But I think if they had come out from the jump and said, hey, listen, we're going to go with Team Young Guns, Team Old Heads, and Team International, and then we're going to have that Rising Star team out there, do you think people would have had a problem, or you think people would have been like, you know what, this is the NBA listening to the fans and trying to give us some storylines that we talk about at home? So that's my first thing. I think that was my initial gripe. I had no expectations for this All-Star weekend because my first impression of it was, hey, we're going to change the format for the 7th time in 5 years, and it's going to be super fun to watch this time, we promise. Also, the draft is going to be live and fun for you guys to watch, except we know behind the scenes exactly who's going with which pick. You lost, they lost me from the jump. Now, I try, despite my youthful naivete and strong opinions and all that, I gave them an open mind and a real shot, and I was pleasantly surprised by the intensity of that second game. To me, that second game showed me that we're mining right now, and we still haven't hit diamonds. But you ever seen that meme where it's like, it's like supposed to be a joke to get people to not stop sports betting? It's like, you might have stopped right before you hit the diamonds. That to me is the NBA. If they hear everyone going, oh, changing the format's dumb, and then they give up on this after 1 year, right? Like, would social media have gotten Tom Coughlin fired after year 1 with Eli? Probably, right? We have to listen to the market. We can't let the market be the only dictator of what the product is. At some point, you got to Steve Jobs it, and you got to say, if we asked the fans what they wanted, they would say a faster horse. I'm gonna give them a car.
Exactly.
And so, like, that's a Henry Ford quote, but Steve Jobs is who repurposed it. And I think they should stick with this. I think they should stick with this format. There are a couple changes I would make, and I'll give them to you quick so you guys can tell me how you're feeling.
Okay.
That final game, target score of 50. The rest can be 40. But if the final game is supposed to be the two teams that earn their way to the final match, and that's going to be the real show, then don't kick us out by intermission. Let us see the show. And that said, I think the second change, I would like to see if there is a way, and I understand this may not be possible, but we'll see what next year's player pool, maybe. I would like to know if there's a way to get a little conference rivalry back about it, but still keep this format. How about 4 teams, East Old Heads, West Old Heads, East Young Guns, West Young Guns. Those are your 4 teams. I don't know that there are enough international all-stars, or that there are going to be, to do Eastern Conference National, like U.S., Eastern Conference International, Western Conference. That was my first idea. People quickly were like, KP, love the energy. That Eastern Conference All-Star International team is going to be like Giannis and Thanasis and Alex Antetokounmpo. So we gotta pump the brakes. And I was like, all right, fine. What about East, West, Young Head, Old Head, and we do the 4 teams? To me, with those changes, you're cooking with gas. Curry said it last night post-game. Yes, part of this was his idea. No, it was not perfect. But what the fans want is the players to care. The players said they'll care if the games are shorter and it's a little more competitive like that. Let's take that and let's grow and build with it, instead of saying, oh, this didn't work in year 1, trash it.
Yeah. Denny Blanco, what do you think? See, KP, when Denny does that, that's like a sign, like, you said a lot of very important stuff. Like, now is how does he process, and like, does he go left? Does he go right? So come on, Denny, what you got?
I appreciate everything you said, and I agree. I agree that I think it needs to move in the right direction. You made that very, very clear. I think they're onto something, but the competitiveness has to come back. And I think if we shorter the short games, short spurts, but actually make them quick. No intermissions, none of those other extra stuff that goes on in the background. Make it quick and make the last game longer. We need that. We need that sauce at the end for the final meal. Yes, I mean, I'm willing to try it again. Yeah, initially I wanted to go back to the East and West format just to make it competitive and possibly throw in, hey, the winner, whoever wins out of the East and West gets the, NBA Finals home court advantage, for example.
Like baseball.
Something like that. Put some sauce into where it's like, nah, well, if our side actually wins, you get more than one player actually giving a damn versus Wemby saying, yes, I ran back and forth and, I like to play hard and, this is what we have. So, yeah. Randy, Kris, you're making great points. You make great points.
KP, for me, I think, like I told Dennis before you got on, I wasn't mad at the format. I wasn't mad at the basketball portion. I think they really wanted to be out there, play, showcase the talents of the world, the people who voted for them, who picked them. And I think it just became too much about TNT. I think it became too much love fest about. First of all, they got Kevin Hart co-host or hosting. Like, whenever in life have you seen an NBA All-Star have or need a host? Until last night,
they went for the 2K blacktop vibe where, after every bucket it's like a player nickname and whatever. But Kevin Hart didn't just keep it energetic and fun. He was making jokes about the state of the game, and it's like, okay, I get the meta. I get what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You have to lead by example, right? Like, if you spend all day long, Randy, telling people, I'm a nice guy. I'm a very nice guy. Oh, but you know me? I'm a really nice guy. You're not going to be known as a nice guy. You're going to be known as the guy that's obsessed with trying to get people to think he's a nice guy, right? The NBA is every 5 seconds of this All-Star game being like, hey, we're entertaining you, right? Hey, here's something new. Oh, you like the fastball? Oh, we got a slurve too. Oh, and Mr. Beast, you didn't ask for that. Here you go, right? And it's like,
a lot of dancing.
Too much.
A lot of dancing.
And to Denny's credit, right? Because I understand the East-West. The Tyler Hero talked about it in his post game. He just wants them to just straight up go back to that. You got to remember, the NBA, this game, it is an effort at creating an annual live museum of the game's history, but it's also a huge outreach event. It's also a chance for kids to see players. Do you think Cade Cunningham was in the 3-point contest because Adam Silver was like, wow, I love watching that kid shoot it? Nah, they're trying to get his clout up nationally, internationally. That's fine with me. I love that, right? But then let's think about who we're dealing with here, because my generation isn't even the youngest anymore. I'm 22, and they're looking at these 13-year-olds and 9-year-olds that are using TikTok on mom and dad's phone from before they can talk. And you got to remember that, the people who were watching 2-hour silent black and white movies to giggle 6 times in 2 hours, that's before y'all's time. If my generation at 22, we grew up on Vine. Why would you spend 2 hours watching a plot and characters and story develop? You could watch a 6.3 second video of someone skateboarding, falling, and hitting themselves in the nuts, and you could watch it 400 times and still have an extra hour to kill before that movie would have ended. That's the generation you're dealing with. You are dealing with the generation that when a former NBA player is talking about their craft and telling a Kobe Bryant story, half the screen is goddamn Subway Surfers, because that's not enough to pay attention to. I made a joke with this format. I was like, what's next? They're going to have LeBron when he's in retirement just playing Subway Surfers on half the TV screen and then the All-Star game on the other. Because but then I realized, no, wait, they're leaning into the bit. And the players said the shorter games will make it more competitive for them. Okay, players, let's listen, because I agree with what Randy said when I first hopped on. And that is what Esfandiar Barahani said on Twitter. My guy S, a great Raptors reporter, and what so many people said, but I think Randy put it best in one sentence, which is, you can't blame the players this time. You can't blame them this time. They did what they were going to do. Yes, Şengün didn't play any defense on the final play, got beat backdoor by Tatum. Wemby was all mad about it. The fact that Wemby was mad that someone didn't play defense on a possession in the All-Star game, and that's the youngest star in the All-Star game, you got it, Adam. You got it. Because that is the pudding. That's the proof-flavored pudding, man, that you got the NBA's youngest stars fired up about this game. You did it. You did it yesterday. Don't listen to the fans, right? Because on Twitter, all everyone talks about is how bad your ratings are. But I know for a fact the NBA is seeing more social engagement and growth and everything than ever before. And Adam Silver has said, we're not concerned about the ratings. And then he goes on to act like he's super concerned about the ratings. Listen, trust yourself. Pick one. Because people are calling for your head as a commissioner, and I don't know that it's justified. But if you continue to move scared, you're going to end up justifying it by accident. You don't happen into that position by accident. That was on purpose. This is a guy who had a dream and a plan and a vision and has seen it halfway through. And he's got all these backseat cooks in the kitchen telling him, hey, that thing looks like it's burning right now. You got to take it out. And it's like, that's your recipe. They don't know what you're cooking. Take the extra time. Take one more year. Get it right. Because I promise you, if you get it right with this format and it sticks, first of all, it's going to do a lot for his tenure as commissioner because people forget things easily. Second of all, it's going to make this year very worth it. Like, do you see Dune 1 in theaters and think to yourself, man, that was a beautifully shot movie. It kind of about a lot of nothing. And then you see Dune 2 and Zendaya has a bigger role and Chalamet's popping out with the army. And you're like, oh, that makes one so much better because they held that setup out on me for years. Like, don't not go see Dune 2 because Dune 1 wasn't your favorite movie. You are robbing yourself. Don't fire Tom Coughlin after year one because Eli Manning didn't look like, Peyton, right? Like, don't do it. Social media's job, it is a market. Elon literally monetized rage and hot takes. He made it so that accounts like NBA Centel, you could probably make more than some full-time employees running that account full-time. This is a rage economy. They just want you to be mad about what you see on the news, what you see on First Things First, what you see on any hot take show. You gotta understand that economy helps grow your sport, helps keep the conversation around your sport. You also got to understand how to take the messaging from that economy with a grain of salt and know that its job is to be overreactive. Your job, Adam Silver, is to be the cooler head that prevails. I believe in you. Show us next year.
And I think bottom line is the fact that people just don't like change. I don't want to sound like, the old man get off my lawn, but it's like you gotta reel a couple things back in. So when Dennis says, "Yo, give me East and West," right? I think they stay with this format next year and kind of improve like how, because you had a lot of first time All-Stars, Mobley, Kay Cunningham, those kind of guys, Tyler Hero, but then they get the one game and then that's it. So that's the kind of part. Like, how does, again, we don't know, but how does if you lose the first game, do you get like a secondary game just to say I played more than 5 minutes in my fucking first All-Star game? So that's the only part they got to figure out. I had no problem with the Rising Stars being in it because I knew from the jump they were gonna make some team play hard.
They earned their key.
I'm on TV. I won on Saturday. I play against LeBron, Tatum, Durant. What? Nah, we're gonna go out and try to bust their ass. They almost did it, but without that kind of spark, it would have been the regular, bullshit, laissez-faire kind of attitude. But I like that going forward. For me, I just didn't like. I sat back and I said, "Holy, this is a 3-hour TNT tribute." It's like, all right, and again, I don't know who's the force behind it, but I felt like it became like it's about Shaq, it's about Barkley, it's about Kenny Smith. And like you told me, if they quote unquote predetermined the draft, and then you ain't giving me a genuine draft, right live, then it's like, I get it, it's your final All-Star game, but that's not on us because y'all lost out on the deal and you got NBC coming in next year. Like, what you think NBC gonna do? All right, we're gonna do a team Marv Albert, team Bob Costas, and team Doug Collins next year. No, they're not. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna give you the game, entertainment, the regular interviews. We're gonna get in and get out. And I promise you, I promise you, NBC saw that last night. And it's like, no, we gotta change a lot of things because this is right here. This can't go on. It can't be about the network. It has to be about the players.
Randy. But Kris was cooking. He was cooking earlier with the conversation about.
I wasn't cooking just now.
I mean, it was
Oh,
like,
wow, all right.
It was like, yeah, I mean, it was like here, but then it was like here, but then it was like here.
On the microwave, right? On the microwave, either air fryer.
There you go.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'll sit back. You talk. I'm good.
I'm dead.
Look at you. Look at you talking all that shit. The fucking internet froze up on you. Huh? Until Dennis comes back. KP.
Nah, I'm dead. He overloaded his Wi-Fi with just hatred.
Exactly. Oh boy, look at that.
He's stuck laughing too. That's the best part.
All right. Until I know he'll be back shortly. But listen, I think we're on the same page. You know, we also had the LeBron factor, the fact that he called out of work an hour before. Could have got somebody else involved, someone who probably was there Friday or Saturday, and say, listen, bro, stay one more night because LeBron might be out. We might need you to play in this game. Ant-Man did not play.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So not to cut you off, but to cut you off, that's what I was gonna say. Sorry. So it's like you guys know like McLovin, right?
Yeah.
And he comes back with the ID, and it's like, why the fuck was it between that or Muhammad? You know, like, why are those the choices? Which one do y'all like better? LeBron coming out right before the game and saying, hey, someone could have had this spot. I knew I was hurt. I thought I'd be fine. I'm not fine, not playing. Or finding out via remembering he was on the team and that he didn't play a single minute, that Anthony Edwards wasn't playing. Why was it between that and Muhammad? Like, why are the choices? Tell us right before tip-off that Norman Powell could have made his only All-Star game of his career, probably. But the thing is, I can't sit here and say, oh, LeBron should have, he should have told Norman. Like Kendrick Perkins was tweeting that, right? Here's my issue with that. Perk and I, despite Perk knowing LeBron personally, probably had the same amount of information about that LeBron injury going into that game. It was just convenient for him to play the people's angle and say, oh, King James, you couldn't let one of your subjects get the crown for 30 minutes, like, and everyone's like, yeah, tell him, Perk. Meanwhile, the Perk is the same guy who will come out and be like, yeah, because they know I was the leader on that team, and everyone's like,
okay, KP, but keep it real. Does Perkins have a point though? If LeBron was not going to be out, I mean, if he was going to be out, should he have said at the 23rd hour, listen, fellas, call my man Norm Powell. You're in California already. An hour flight. Tell him to come up here, take my stuff. But like at the last minute, I think it's like how he did it, because obviously fans already feel a certain way.
Right. But here's the thing. Fans had the chance to get mad at him. The game was already going on when they found out Ant Edwards wasn't playing. That's why Ant didn't catch the same flack, because Ant did it with no announcement.
Yeah.
He snuck up the blog post on the school athletics website that they're firing the head coach, and they thought no one would notice. Like, dude, like, should the Mavericks have announced the Luka trade, or should they have just shown up the next game with AD and been like, hey, listen, y'all gonna have to figure out what happened when you figure it out?
What Luka at, bro? Yeah.
Because both of those options suck, and that's what we got with LeBron and Anthony Edwards. We got two sides of the same suck, and I don't know what could have been done to prevent that, but I still think the game's like, I don't know that Ant and LeBron obviously would have made it a more fun event to watch because they're Ant and LeBron.
Yeah.
But that said, I think the only reason people don't have the same energy for Ant that they do for LeBron is because Ant didn't give them the time to have that energy.
And I tell you one more thing before I see Denny chomping at the bit. I tell you one more thing about LeBron. The reason why they were going ham at LeBron, because there's other things that they relate to LeBron for All-Star Weekend, how they feel like he's the killer of the slam dunk contest. And again, I get the 21-time All-Star. We are LeBron fans. But at the same time, it's like I don't compete in a dunk contest. I don't regret it. Michael did it, Kobe did it, Vince Carter did it, Dominic did it. The greats have done it, except LeBron. Then the fact that during All-Star Weekend it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you show up on Sunday, and it's like some of those habits might rub off on your fellow All-Stars. I mean, you know what? If LeBron ain't here on Friday, Saturday, fuck it, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up Sunday too. And I think it's just how he did it, how he does those kind of things that it's like, all right, LeBron, come on, bro. I know you're LeBron, but you're doing too much. Denny, go ahead.
Adam Silver should make a rule. Hey, so we don't have a LeBron, we don't have an Ant-Man situation. Just tap these guys on the shoulder. Excuse me. Well, yes, you've been voted an All-Star. Will you be playing? If not, give your slot up early so someone else can actually.
All right, Friday night. If you're not playing
early, like come on, bro. Like you gonna play? Okay, cool, no doubt. If you're not, move the hell on, move to the side, and let somebody else come on. And then also too, entertainment. You see Michael Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Every All-Star game, he said, you know what? I'm gonna show up and give you what you want, give you what you need.
Yeah,
more of me against the best. I'm gonna show you I'm still better than all these guys that are on the court. You got one All-Star game. Your man played in like original ones that made his feet bleed.
Mm-hmm.
All for the All-Star game. And finally, Kobe Bryant broke D Wade's nose
in the All-Star game because what? He was playing hard.
He said, "Yeah, I just, you're on the other team. Yeah. I'm going to destroy you. Yeah, that's all. And everyone's gonna watch because we're on the main stage. This is what we've been waiting for. I want D Wade every minute of the game, please."
And you know what, Dennis and KP, you go back to LeBron. When Kobe wanted LeBron to guard him in the All-Star game,
come.
Like Kobe's guarding LeBron. Yo, what's up? Dan is like, like those are the things that keep adding on to this LeBron thing of All-Star mannerisms. Like, yo, what's up, man?
You take the weekend off. Just take the weekend off, bro. Like, you don't have to entertain us anymore. 15, 16, 17 year, you get the All-Star game, you're like, all right, I don't want to compete. Take the weekend off.
Yeah, if you're legit hurt, bro, I'm not knocking your injury.
Even if he's not legit hurt. Big corn. Big corn. Big corn for the weekend. Sit down.
Can you at least put the uniform on for the photo, bro? But I've seen other people be out injured and
at least stood on the side. If you remember, Kobe and Brandon Roy were injured one year. And for the West team, I was probably 2. But Kobe and Roy were hurt and they were in suits in the picture, but they bookended it. You know, it's like, okay, that's a minuscule thing to complain about. Here's what I wanted to say. Like, that first of all, that Kobe LeBron moment was a long time coming too, because the NBA landscape overly criticizes Dwight Howard to this day and denigrates his legacy to this day. The guy who took the Orlando Magic to the finals to this day, because they feel he robbed them of the LeBron Kobe NBA finals. So the Dwight still gets his hate for that, but that moment I think healed that hate in some people's hearts out there. It got redirected to Drake because his jacket was in the picture. But that said, I want to make a point that I think is, you guys are nice enough to have me on this show, and I think listening to you guys so far, it makes me just want to shut up and listen because y'all are both spitting. But what I want to add from my young perspective that I know is unique to me is I'm a nerd. I didn't have plans on Valentine's Day. I was at WFAN producing national radio. That said, what do you think I was doing during COVID? I was holed up in this very room watching the Magic Jordan finals matchup, watching all the old All-Star games, because what the hell else was I going to do at 18?
Yeah.
And so I've watched old All-Star games. I've watched that MSG All-Star game, that Kobe Bryant coming out party, right? I've watched these All-Star games. And if you tell me, because I know I wasn't there, but I know they can't speak, which means they can't lie, right?
They working.
So I know I've seen very minimal defense played in the first half of those games. I've seen guys from Tim Duncan to Kobe break away for dunks, and the closest defender is it was like a Xavier Worthy, burn route down the sideline. Like, not even close. They weren't trying to kill each other, but when it got close to the end of the game, they decided it's time to dial in.
Yeah.
I remember, and I know I was not watching live. Yes, I watched later on YouTube. I remember when the second best All-Star on the East team was someone that's near and dear to Knicks fans' hearts, and Mr. Stephon Marbury. Do y'all know what comeback
01
I'm talking about? That kind of energy, you don't need to go crazy. You just need to replicate that energy. And I promise, sitting the players down before every game and going, hey, the four of you that sit in the back of the class, y'all better not be making jokes during this class. Y'all better not joke about how I look like a highlighter in this vest, or you better not joke. Like, you're giving the bad kids the ammo. You are telling them, hey, if you're going to be a bad apple, here's how to do it. Now, please don't do it. Hello?
Yeah.
I saw a kid my age at double my height step onto that court, and I saw the energy shift from, we're having fun, and after this, we all go into the club. And I saw it shift to, this MFer thinks he's stepping in our league and just snatching our lunch money? Hell no.
Yep.
Wembanyama is transcendent of a force enough as a human being, as a personality on his own.
Yeah.
To get at it. I saw two things that reminded me of the Last Dance documentary. We got that amazing footage of the All-Stars talking before the game, chopping it up. Pat Ewing getting wrapped up in his Star Wars back to tank, level of rehab that he had going.
Yep.
I saw Nikola Jokic making fun of Victor Wembanyama for reading before every game he plays. It's like, you guys know Cam Edwards, the former G Leaguer who makes those funny videos, and it's like, when your son turns out to be a geek, and it's like someone was saying that's Jokic about Wemby, like when your kid grows up to be a nerd, because Wemby's telling Jokic, I read before every game, and Jokic is sitting there thinking, bro, I go to MSG, I got my Uber to the horse track planned.
Quick, that's it.
What's good with you, man? And I saw Giannis Antetokounmpo, who we know is about 6-7 years younger than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, going, hey, shake my hand. I just want a little aura. Just give me a little aura, man. Like, that's got to be dope for Shai to get that respect from someone who has literally done it all. Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, All NBA First Team, whatever. Giannis has done it all. To get those flowers, to him just saying, yo, you're so cool, bro. You're so tough. You so tough, Shai. Right? So those moments, to me, if we weren't looking at the All-Star game through a lens of what's the first thing I see that I don't like that I can get a banger on Twitter about being silly, if we watched it through the lens of we're watching a live museum of our game, an annual live museum, and it's night at the museum, the T-Rex is coming to life tonight, Wemby's coming out, the pterodactyl, that's beautiful. And there's a way to enjoy it. And I prevented myself a lot of misery last night because I was working the game in a sense, like not anything to do with the game, but at the Infinity Sports Network, I was cutting tape, which means, big highlights, the game winning buckets, things like that. I've got to cut, load into the system, normalize the audio. So like I couldn't pay 1000% attention, but I watched most of the points that got scored. And I just had the mindset that was fun. That was fun. Those ads were, geez. Oh, back to play. All right, here we go. Like, you just try to be positive. I promise it really wasn't that bad, y'all. And I know I had work to do that helped the ad breaks go by faster. Most people are sitting on their couch thinking, Really? I'm about to go through a 4th bowl of popcorn because we're doing a 6th Kia ad and it's not even the final game yet. Okay, I get it. They can address that. And if they really care about the product, they will address it. They will not address it much, but by cutting out the TNT tribute, leaving the Mr. Beast game slot for something a little different that they'll do next year. They'll honor some legends and do a giveaway or whatever. Just shorten it, streamline it a little bit. I think they're close. And I think they can make sure that this year doesn't go to waste by just don't stop mining. You about to hit the diamonds. Don't give up right now because you're too close to give up. If this went so poorly, I would say, hey, cut the cameras, turn this shit off, do East-West, just give us a game, give us a score. I had someone message me today saying, I like this format, but they should do 2 10-minute halves instead of a target score. I'm fine with the target score if you go 40-40-50 or 40-40-60 even.
Yeah.
Because that's what Brunson said in his post game.
At the same time, KP, the fact that when you have these short games, you have time to fill. This is not one long 2.5 hour game. So of course you got to get Mr. Beast do his 100,000. Oh, we got to get this halftime performance. Oh, we got to get this 19-minute TNT tribute. So now that's all the time you're missing. That's why you're only going to get 43 minutes of basketball last night because it ain't the traditional 48 minute basketball. Like I didn't even see the intros. The intro used to be popping back in the day. The D Rose and he wasn't dancing, like all that shit. Shaq with the mask on, like even all that was entertaining. Now it's just like, again, I really feel like NBC next year, I think it's gonna be a complete different broadcast. One, because they're gonna cut out all the bullshit. It ain't gonna be about our personalities on the network, and they're gonna have some people. I think they got Blake, they got Gilbert, they got Melo coming on board, Jamal Crawford, Taylor Rook. So it's gonna be pretty dope to see them get involved somehow, some way. But I don't think I'm gonna see a team Blake or a team Jamal. Like we're not doing that. If they go back to East and West, I got no problem with that. If they stay with the format, cool, a little tweaking here and there. But I think the NBC portion is going to bring back the storytelling of the All-Star game, because when I watch TNT, I don't get that. I don't get the storytelling of like All-Star past games and this and that. Like NBC, the number one thing why people wanted NBC back was because it's nostalgia with the storytelling. Bob Costas, Marv Albert, are they going to do? Are they going to do it? I don't know, but they made you feel like whatever you're watching, All-Star, regular season, playoff, or finals, this was the game you had to be there and watch. And now, when you're seeing little crumbs of like Ja Morant saying, "Oh, Mac got me like feeling a certain way to try to do a dunk contest," yo, was good. Aaron Gordon was good. Zach LaVine, and then Zach said, "Oh, I might have to come back." Now you're seeing little crumbs like, "Oh shit, could it be? Could it finally be that you guys have finally waken up?" And you know what? Stop shaking your head, bro. You gotta give me a little piece of positivity here. You know what I'm saying? If you get Ja, if you get Zach LaVine, if you get someone to be in the dunk contest, I promise you, if those guys are announced prior to the All-Star game, I think the game becomes even more competitive because these guys just did a dunk contest. Why would I go out there and play like shit when these guys, the top talent that you've been wanting for so long to be the dunk contest? Give me Mac, give me Ja, give me Zach, give me Ant-Man, give me somebody, Zion, and let's fucking do the shit already.
And that's the problem. I'm shaking my head because that's what we want, but we won't get that because these guys have no sauce in the game. No, there's no skin in the game. There's nothing they get. Of course, I would love to see Ant-Man in the dunk contest along with Ja Morant. Sure, they have no skin in the game, so it's cute to be like, "Ooh, they're giving me the vibes. Ooh, they're making me want to."
So you think Ja it really type that tweet and like, I ain't doing this shit, bro. I just want to get a reaction.
What's this? It's a pump fake.
Pump fake.
D-Way had an L pump fake, bro. I'm telling you, pump fake central. Pump fake central, man. It is what it is.
LeBron was the mega pump fake in 09. He did the Kobe over 4 defenders. Oh, he was doing that. But I'm like, bro, Okay.
Why? But it's not necessary though. Like, you feel me?
Yeah,
Like,
I will say Giannis didn't do a pump fake. Giannis straight up said, "Hey, if you're being for real, you're being for real. I'll be for real with you." Yeah, I think Giannis's tweet
He
was
said,
less.
"I'll do it. I need 3 weeks to warm up."
Giannis said, "I'll do it if you do it," and to me, that's like, I think that's more Giannis saying you're not really going to do it than it is him saying I will.
see,
But KP, all it takes is one guy. It takes one guy.
So exactly. So does Ja want to fix his PR in a second? Because I know a way. Sign up.
If Ja said, "Yo, I'm doing it," I promise you, Zach, like, "Oh, word, all right, bet." Ant-Man, oh, Zion. If
I
you're
would love
healthy
to.
by
Zion
February,
too. Yeah, you get these guys to do, but I don't know if.
And on the first year of NBC coming back, you get that kind of dunk contest along.
My
with
only thing is
champion.
Zach and AG are both 29 now. I don't know if
don't do that. Don't do that. I saw Zach a month ago in Chicago practice. Dude,
Zach is still saucy. Zach is still saucy.
Aaron Gordon might be, but Zach Levine,
especially with the injury he's been dealing with this season, like, we'll see if he's willing to put the body on the line. I wouldn't blame him, right? But that said, yeah, I could see Zach, Ja, bring Mac back. He earned it. Mac earned it. But this is the year that you put the stars out there that actually deserve to take the throne from Mac. There was a tweet that was circulating that was like, Castle should have won because his dunks were basically as good as McClung's, but he's an actual NBA player. And it's like, okay, so what? You want them to have, like, to give Mac a score, and then the booming voice in the stadium goes, "And because he's not good enough on defense to make an NBA roster, his 49.7 will be reduced to a 41. What's the point of having him in the contest then?
Silly.
So don't be disrespectful to Mac McClung because you're mad that the stars of your era don't want to be about it like that. It's okay. That's their right. But that doesn't mean, just because they're not who you thought they were, doesn't mean you need to take your anger out on the one guy who does relish this opportunity, who does make the most of it. That's my take on Mac.
You hit it right out the park. He put effort, thought into his presentation, into his dunks. He completed them, and I appreciated that because that's what.
And not only that, it was on the first attempt.
Yes, that's what you need. And also, please, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's in the game podcast. Don't forget, please. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, these guys wanted to come out and give you what you need every time. So whether it's a dunk contest, whether it's the All-Star game, they were going to give you everything. All at same value. You got your man Ant-Man taking the weekend off, which is fine. Take the weekend off. I don't mind that. But give us something. You could have taken the weekend off. Don't play in the game. Give us a dunk contest. You could have gave us that.
Hey, you know what? Yo.
You could have gave us that.
You know what? Give me that one-on-one tournament.
Nah.
Give me.
They don't want it.
You shut down everything, bro.
Nah, they don't want it. They don't want that. You got people that won't even compete.
Smoke?
You got even what? But we got even people don't want to even compete in a 5-on-5. You want people to stand in a defensive stance.
Yeah.
From 0 to 15 in a defensive stance in front of everybody in the NBA.
Put my name in it. I promise you get guys falling in line. Oh, where Kyrie's in it? Oh, nah, chill. I don't want these guys to feel like they're gonna get embarrassed, bro.
They are.
Everybody gets dunked on. Everybody gets crossed over.
They don't want that word.
Everybody gets a shot made in their face.
They don't want that word. No, they don't want it. They don't want it. That's why
that's whack.
Competition's low. Well,
that's
hey,
whack. That's basketball.
Hey, man, don't want it.
To me, it's pride. To me, it's pride because we saw the W players do it, right? And here's my question. I forget. I think it was Aaliyah Boston shutout Stewie, right? Am I correct on that? Okay.
I believe so.
Let's talk about a potential NBA equivalent of that.
Okay.
That's like if Paolo Banchero shut out KD.
Banchero, come on.
Banchero. If Paolo shut out KD in a one-on-one, is that like a fair comparison to Aaliyah Stewie? Maybe as close as we're gonna get. Something like that.
That'll be a shocking upset. Holy shit.
Right.
Banchero shut out. Oh.
But is anyone going to say after that Paolo's like the all-time better player than Durant?
No.
Okay. No. So then really, what are we scared of?
Just getting the ass whooped. That's all. That's it. That's all.
So it's like, okay, so then we got to call it how it is. Because if we're gonna call out the players for saying they don't want to do this, we gotta think about why. because the W players put the ego and pride aside. They said, hey, we're going to be the ones to step up and do this for the fans. And it's going to be for us too. And they made the most of it. And I promise you, if you ask around the WNBA, would you rather guard Aaliyah or Stewie for a night? They're going to say Aaliyah because Stewie is the vet, the nimble, pick you apart scorer. But that said, when the chips were down in that one-on-one, Aaliyah got the best of her and had an amazing game. That doesn't make her a better player all time. That doesn't make Stewie a joke of a player. It was just a great game.
Bro, you do know these guys play 48 minutes with the high chance of getting A, dunked on, B, getting a game winner in your face, B, falling of a crossover.
Business decisions.
It happens.
Business decisions are made every possession. I've seen folks step out the way.
Your bread. You still get your money. It's not different.
All that. I don't want to poster. I don't want to be on Instagram. It's
not a bigger stage.
I don't want to be on Twitter.
If you go on TNT, not a big stage. So what?
I don't want to be on someone's screen the next morning being passed around at high schools, colleges, at meetings at the cooler.
Bro, that's part of the game. That's
at the editing room where Kris is at editing tape, where he walks and says, did you see? Kris, did you see? Yo, KD got crossed and then dunked on by Kara.
But you know what? That's more people watching what happened last night.
I dig it.
That's the water cooler talk you want to have. Not that also I was whack.
Take one for the take one for the team. D-Wade, Kobe Bryant, these guys back in the day when they competed, D-Wade took one for the team. You know what I mean? Gets nose broke. It's all about competition and being able to bring it, put your best foot forward. I'm just the future is bright because this can go many ways. To be honest with you.
You give me one-on-one competition. You give me Ja, Zach, Mac McClung, or Ant-Man, and Zion in a dunk contest. And
it has to be them. It has to be them.
Who else you picking, bro? Right now,
my point
that won't stink it up.
No, my point. I've always talked to you about the dunk contest. My suggestion about the dunk contest was, you actually don't use NBA players. You actually use guys from the online. You get these guys in here that actually done dunks that no one's ever dunked before.
They're shitting on Mac McClung.
No, he still stay. No, he defends.
He's winning, but you want to bring more outside people to
because then no one. These NBA players don't take it seriously.
And you know
these
what,
NBA
KP?
players don't take it seriously. But these guys off the street would.
You know what, KP? You know the most important part I forgot, and Dennis, I hope you realize the fact that the All-Star crowd is not like your typical crowd. Like it's more corporate. It's the sponsors, it's the partners. You ain't getting all that cheering, and this ain't no playing at the Garden or playing at Lakers. Like you're not getting that rabid fan base. You just like that's how I felt when the NBA Cup goes to Vegas and not at a like an actual home team. You lose that fanfare. You lose that. If I'm doing a crazy dunk and they're not even cheering, then it's like, what am I doing?
When you dunk on somebody, then they'll cheer. When you cross somebody and somebody falls on the ground, they'll go, what? Ooh. you gotta. This is what things that you have to do.
A half-court shot from Curry.
Or Curry coming. No. That All-Star game where what? It was. I think it was still East and West. No. Or no. They did the draft. They actually did the draft, and they.
I like too. I didn't mind that.
I didn't mind that at all. LeBron and Curry playing on the same team, and Curry lighting it up from outside. That had high entertainment value, and they were playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't when you that was fine. So
I think last year when you're scoring 200 plus points, like, all right, fellas, come on, like, all right, gotta stop.
Yeah. Everybody's taking a layup, everybody's taking a dunk. It's like ridiculous. So.
Yeah. Well, so KP, before we wrap up, what would you do next year? Like, if you're Adam, if you're Mrs. Silver, and say, hey, I'm taking all the feedback, all the whatever from All-Star 25, knowing that next year it'll be in LA, Intuit Dome. So I read Intuit Dome will have the All-Star Saturday and All-Star Sunday. The Forum will get the celebrity game and and those kind of practice and stuff like that. I mean, you never know. It could be LeBron's final All-Star game, and with it being in LA, he's a Laker. It kind of makes sense. Like, all right, this might be the final loop that I make. But what would you do for next year for All-Star weekend?
To bounce off of what we were all just talking about, I think one change that Silver should make is very early on, he should have his short list, his dream 4-man dunk contest. He should extend invitations to those players, give them a date by which to respond, and then move on. You know, whoever says no, move on to his next group. Like, actually go for the top dogs. But here's the thing. Here's what's different, because I know this is already what they do every year. But here's what's different. He's got to tell them this time that if they are going to decline, the NBA is going to publicize the list of names that were invited and declined. Shouldn't be the end of the world, right? But if you want to say that it's ego and pride that's driving a lot of these decisions, let's put the chips on the table. All right? So I want Adam to come out and say, listen, we reached out to John Morant, Anthony Edwards, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We asked them to make good on their tweets from last season. They did not. The players that wanted to compete, we feel will put on the best show because they want to be there. And those players are Mac McClung and maybe Anthony Edwards, right? But, you know, like, assuming Ja won't really do it, assuming Giannis won't really do it, which is sad that we got to assume that. But then if you're gonna pump fake the fans, like we were talking about, if you're really gonna, they went out of their way, right? That wasn't a sponsored tweet. That wasn't like Woj doing a fake Woj bomb for NIL dough. That was just, you know, he's sitting on the couch. He's going, hey,
yeah,
I'm feeling like I want to dunk.
And then you're recruiting, like Zach was good, AG was good. Like,
you decided to tweet about it all those times. Now, if you're not doing it, we're gonna tell the world that you declined, because that's only right to the fans. So let's start there. I know that probably might not be popular among players, but if they don't care enough to do it, why did they care that people know? People know because they're not there that they turned it down. If you're so great, then shouldn't fans assume that you were invited and turned it down? So now at least the confirmation of your greatness will be official, because people will know the NBA went to you first. That's the plus side for the players if they turn it down. But if they don't turn it down, they get to say, the league gets to say, we came to them and they were very receptive and they said, let's compete. That's the one thing I would do. The second thing I would do, listen to CP3 and Wemby, not what they said, but what they did. That skills challenge, like, the skills challenge has a chance to be very fun. It has been fun in years past when they have a big going against a guard. This whole teammate format invited the bullshit. And they told them that they could do what they did. And they got lucky because Wemby's foot was over the line and they were able to nullify and disqualify them. But it's not what they said on the broadcast. I don't think they were disqualified because the shots weren't legitimate attempts. I think they did the loophole, disqualified them because Wemby's foot was over the line.
If you're Wemby and Chris Paul, why would you even do that in the first place?
Because they're trolling, like they're actually trying to win. I'd want players actually try to win, right? What's the Astro fan saying, right? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. So I'll use that here, man. They asked officials, they said we want to set the tone and win this competition by a country mile. Can we do this? 7 different people told them yes. It's on them for messing it up. But what would the NBA have done? All those boos going on, and they couldn't have disqualified them. They got lucky that Wemby's foot was over the line. Next time, set it up where that can't happen. Don't have some stupid rule where it's either if you make a shot, you can stop shooting, but you've got to shoot 3 times, even if it's clank, 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 then you move on. That sounded like something that was not so thought through. That's like when a Lakers fan posts a mock trade and it's like, why would the other team do this? And the Lakers fan is like, well, the money works. It's like, okay, and what else? Like that felt silly. I'm glad CP3 and Wemby did what they did, because that's going to force the NBA to make sure that isn't possible next year. I'm cool with that. Publicize the dunk contest decliners. And number 3, what I said earlier, man, let's get U.S. young, U.S. old, international young, international old. however you want to do it, right? You gotta have a team, international young would be like Shea, Şengün, different players like that.
You got to
US
cap it by
young.
age. Like if you're 27, 28, whatever.
Exactly,
29 up
yeah.
and
28
down.
could be the line, and whatever. But you find a way to make it fun. Stick with the 4 team. Don't run away from it. But also, like, realistically, as much as I thought it was fun, as much as I respect every single one of those guys, especially, let's talk about, because we didn't even say his name yet, just the fire that Dalton Connect played with. He was double Will Smith. He was double Why Don't He Want Me Man. And that gave him some fire and desire to go out there and really hoop. That was awesome. They did what they needed to do.
He had a very interesting couple of weeks.
They did what the Rising Stars did what they needed to do. I think led by the fire under Dalton Connect's tush. That said, Dalton Connect played in the 2025 All-Star game. What are we doing here, folks? All respect to him, what he had to prove, the chip on his shoulder, because he put as much dip on that chip as he could handle, and he took care of business. That said, let's never put any 21-year-old in that position again unless they're Wemby and they actually earned an All-Star game. My theory is this Rising Stars thing will never happen again. The league was scared Wemby wouldn't make the All-Star team. They needed him to be part of All-Star weekend, and so they made sure one way or another his French ass was getting to San Francisco. That said, we know right now, and listen, if you want to say in Game 7 there's 10 guys you would rather have than Wemby because of experience, I actually encourage that take. But you can't tell me so far this season that there are 10 players that have had a better overall impact on the game than Wemby. I think he's been in that top 10. I'm not calling him top 3, not 2. I'm just saying top 10 because the impact he's had now that he just got a little smidgen, a pinch, a dash of talent around him. And it's CP and Harry Barnes. It's Steph Castle who can't shoot yet. It's Sohan who can't shoot yet. They didn't build the goddamn Monstars around him. They just gave him a couple of guys. Vassell, Keldon. They gave him some guys. And look, they're not in the play-in. They're not in the playoffs right now, but now they got De'Aaron Fox. Maybe they'll get into the play-in, and maybe they'll get a playoff spot. Who knows, right? But Wemby's going to make it. So we don't got to do this Rising Stars thing. Kill that. 4 teams. U.S. young, U.S. old. International young, international old. 40, 40, 54 target score or something like 55 or 60. Jalen Brunson said maybe 60. I think 60 for the final game after a game of 40, maybe a little too much. So maybe just do 50. If 50 feels like too little, there's always year 3, right? Because you can't view this as year 8 of All-Star failure. This is year 1 of a step. They took a step and they took a step forward. But the thing is, bad and good are both forward. One's to the left, one's to the right. They walk towards both. They made change, and it felt like some of the energy shifted. There were so many ads and so much bullshit that they muted their own success a little bit. Like they're playing their walk-up song, but like it's on mute a little bit, like it's muffled, On sunny days, right? Like it's not gonna play. No pun intended. Next year, be legit, be upfront, be transparent. Tell us from the jump. These are what the 4 teams are going to be sorted as. Don't act like we're stupid, because even if it was just for the sake of, oh, you figured out after that you figured out too late that you wanted to do this, so you couldn't switch it up. NBA fans knew what you were doing the second those rosters came out, when there wasn't a single center on Shaq's team, when all the international players were on one team, and then the odd men out was team 3, and they were like, oh, those are the young stars. Yeah, okay. Those were the leftover nachos is what that team was. And it had some very talented players on it, and they inherently disrespected them by treating them like group the third wheel, pretty much. That said, NBA, like I said at the top of this show, this has been such a fun show to be a part of. I thank you guys a million for inviting me. It's been awesome chopping it up with both of you. I think they're close, but they're close to big failure and they're close to big success. And they got to make the right tweaks to make sure that they go with the latter and not the former.
Denny Blanco.
Randy, listen, we're gonna have to get the apron out here for Kris. He was cooking.
The sorbet.
It was fire, dude. Boys on fire. Yay, man. Your man's on fire. We need him to come. So I'm saying I'm going to have the apron ready. So when he comes back, he's cooking again, because I don't need to. I think his suggestions are great. I think his suggestions are exactly what the NBA needs in the future. Yeah. And I don't want to, hinder any of changes that's going to make the actual game better. We always should be looking for ways to make the game better. So Randy, I got nothing. He was cooking with fish grease. I want to eat that meal. It was delicious.
I appreciate you. And I think what's important about what I said is I found a way to say it without being like, oh, the NBA sucks, and because the players that are trying to get careers in media, that's how they think. It's not their fault. They have been taught that the way to do it is to have hot takes, to be a cranky old man,
and shit on the product,
to hate on the new generation. Have you just go after this? If you are watching or listening to my voice right now, I want you after this to look up Kevin Garnett's podcast and pick a random clip. I promise you he'll be funny. Maybe he'll throw a joke at someone's expense here or there. More often than not, he is promoting the state of the game. He is promoting the game's new stars. Have you seen his rant about Jokic? He slams the table and gets up and walks off because he's trying to think about how Wilt Chamberlain would interpret and perceive the fact that the best basketball player that he's ever seen is a 6'10" white power forward from Serbia who hates his job like all Europeans, but is also really good at it. And damn it, he can't block a shot at the rim, but he can throw a full court pass without looking behind his back. And that guy's the best player in the game right now. And Wilt would pass out. He slams his mic and he slams the table and he gets up and walks off because he can't even. So there are ways to look at AI. Look at AI. AI is like the patron saint of the former player community. That man does nothing but show love, shed light, show respect. There are ways to go about telling the NBA that what they're doing could be better than starting out every sentence with, you're a joke and you need to listen to me over everyone else. Like, I think they're on the right track.
And I think before we wrap up, I think that's the difference of when they finally go back to NBC. You know, listen, we love Shaq, we love Charles, we love Kenny, but let's keep it a buck. You know, sometimes they do say, you know, I'm the best center. I got 4 rings, and Dwight Howard's not better than me. This guy not better than me. And if you ain't got no rings, you ain't shit. Oh, Chuck, you got 0 rings. You're a bum. You ain't shit. Oh, Kenny, and it's like, yo. Oh, and Chuck just say, oh, the Lakers ain't going nowhere. They could be 3rd in the East and in the West. Oh, they're not gonna.
That was them with the Knicks and the Sixers in round 1. It's like, oh, Knicks not beating Joel Embiid. On, man. You guys hate Joel Embiid. Why all of a sudden is Joel Embiid getting talked about like King Von? Like, what are we doing here, y'all? Like, that you guys hate Joel Embiid, and now it's like, oh, Knicks gonna run into Embiid. They're in trouble. Pick one.
Shaq's the biggest Knicks hater of all time. It don't matter what it is. No matter, you want Joel and Paul George to come back from injury and they're better than the Knicks. Come on, Shaq, cut it out,
dude. It's like when you're having an argument with.
When Candace Parker said, "Oh, Jada Brunson, he small, or he didn't do too well against Miami in the second round." Like, Brunson averaged 34 a game against Miami. What games were you watching? But I think at that people still feel like shit on the Knicks is like for the clicks, for the no, that time is over.
It's a whole conversation.
That time is over.
I just tweeted about it today. Like, NBA media had a chance to say the Knicks team president as his job is to turn this team around from a loser, and he just gave his godson the first contract over $100 million to a player that's never made an all-star game from the team that didn't draft him, like from another team. That's the first one of those contracts. Do you know how like cherry-picked that stat is? That was the story. The story could have been, hey, this guy, everyone feels like he's not going to save the Knicks on his own. No one thought he would save Villanova. No one thought he'd win a title. No one thought he'd do it again. No one thought he'd get drafted in the first round. He didn't. He went early second. But no one thought after that he'd stick, and he did. And then they didn't even want to pay him the 55. And then all of a sudden they've got to pay him over 100, and then they don't do that. And they had a chance to look at that and build up the hype and act like Brunson had a chance to turn it around. You know why? Because there's no bigger takedown than the takedown of the person you built up to fail. That's their formula, and they couldn't even follow it. They couldn't even follow the "we're going to hype you up to tear you down" formula, because they hit their first leg of the parlay. Brunson signed with the Knicks, and they cashed out for the 1 times profit. It was a parlay, but plus 1,000 odds. Brunson signs with the Knicks. Brunson, the hype is big. We build the hype up. Everyone believes in the Knicks, and then they're bad, and we get to pour on them. That's the best way to execute on their Knicks for click strategies.
And they look wrong.
They didn't have the long-term foresight to even do that. Because then what do you do if you're accidentally right and the hype you built up is real? You just act like you knew you were right the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's a win-win for them. And they couldn't resist the red button, the cash out. And they just were like, oh, Knicks suck. Brunson sucks. This sucks. I was actively arguing against signing Jalen Brunson for the New York Knicks. Once I saw the contract details and I saw the reception from fans, I was like, if everyone is this convinced that it's a bad deal, it's probably going to age just fine. And from then on, before he had played a game, I flip-flopped on him. And I started defending the signing because people were saying he's not a top 15 point guard. How can you pay him like a superstar? They weren't paying him like a top 10 point guard in annual rate. And now he's what? The second best point guard in the NBA after Shea?
Discount.
So, the media had an opportunity
and he took less money.
Set him up to fail. They had an opportunity to build him up and tear him down. They couldn't even follow. That's their HB dive on 1st and 10. Like, that's the oldest trick in the book. They couldn't even do that because they were so desperate for the clicks right away. Now I'm done for the night.
And now
I'm done.
Now Brunson wants to do a nice pickup game for Knicks Twitter. Look, come on. Look, this the kind of captain we have in New York.
You got to see.
You don't see nobody else doing that in no other franchise.
I suggested that all the positive energy around the game, result in something good for like 1 or 2 charitable organizations. Mm-hmm. I've gotten several tweets today. Fuck charity. Good stuff, guys. Jalen Brunson's really gonna want to hang out with you now. Fuck charity. Fuck this kid.
That's Knicks fans for you.
2 different replies said the words "fuck charity," like actually, like back to back, and they're getting likes. Like this.
They follow you or
no? But they respond to all my tweets. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know.
Guys. Anyway,
on that note, Denny Blanco.
Fuck charity. Fuck tickets.
Well,
yeah.
We'll
tickets. I said tickets are first come, first serve, and fans pay however much they want for the tickets, even if it's $1 or $0. It all goes to charity. Fuck charity. Fuck tickets. You're ruining it. Ruining what?
Oh, whatever thought they had in mind.
Why don't we just get a park and I'll show up? Okay, who's stopping you from doing that tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
I hear you.
But you're scared that because it's just a pickup game, no one's going to show up. So then why wouldn't you build hype for the event and help it all go towards a charitable cause?
No, they'll show up. Trust me. If this becomes reality, and this New York City we're talking about, I guarantee this is going to be. It might be bigger than the fucking All-Star Weekend.
I was in touch with Jalen's team last night about trying to lay some groundwork. I sent them that picture of the core you tweeted, Randy. So if I end up having any sort of say in this, I'm gonna try to get it done at Orchard because for summertime that would be special.
Well, I feel like crying now.
Let it go down slow.
Listen, I appreciate
like
it.
Like a Denzel tier.
I appreciate it. Listen, everybody and their mother was tweeting about it last night. Yo, this time, I get it. It's a fun time. One, to be a New York Knicks fan, because the sky's the limit. This team could win a championship. They had the potential to win an NBA championship in our lifetime, in the very near future. And to see that idea come up, I think Knicks and Muse put it out, and then Brunson quote tweeted it and said, I think I like the idea. Hosted. I want to, it just morphed, and it's like an avalanche of everybody on Knicks Twitter just getting involved. And I'm about to go in the gym, I'm about to work out. They don't know I used to bust the ass in high school. Like you start getting all these reminiscing of like what they used to do, and it's cool, man. It's fun. And listen, if the venue happens to be there, um, it's a lot of work on our end. But listen, I'm pretty sure it'll be magical because listen, you come from the Bobby C tree. That's why I knew about you a long time ago. And Bobby, you remind me of Bob, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but boy, y'all two can talk. And Dennis knows Bobby C can talk his ass off. I'm like, oh shit. Let them talk for 15 minutes and all that. Boom. But Bobby's a man, Hall of Famer. He was commentating our games for so long. And I'm like, yo, this is I think it'll be magical if it happens.
Absolutely, man.
And let me know if they respond and stuff like that. But then
absolutely,
they're not making no call tomorrow, so we got time. We'll figure it out. And I think regardless, the Knicks fans, Twitter family will be happy because they're gonna be awesome, real community type involvement. It's just gonna be fun.
Absolutely, man. There's a chance here to do something very special and to take all this positive energy towards it and have it turn into something good. And that's not something I'm going to give up on because of a couple heads on Twitter. So I thank you, and I thank you for the kind words.
No problem. Thank you,
man. Appreciate y'all.
Listen, don't think I didn't write some people on the side too. I'm like, hey, I'm like, listen, it's what you got to do. It's what you listen. It's my 25th anniversary. I'll be a fool to not even attempt or try.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
Denny Blanco, my man, thank you. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Sir Denny Blanco. My boy Kris. Let me get your Twitter correctly over here. Just all these pop-ups coming up.
It's just my full name.
You say it, man. You say it.
Yeah, it's at Kris Pursianen.
I know
the last name can be tough to spell, but at KRISPUR should get you there. I'll pop up. I don't know how many Kris Per somethings are out there. So you just get those first 7 letters down. I bet I'll come up. KRISPUR and then SIAINEN. It's the same ad on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm Kris AP on Blue Sky.
Nice. Kris, man, we thank you. We love you, bro. We appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. A young player in the game. Sky's the limit for you. So any chance that myself and Denny could be a lending hand to help you out, let us know.
I appreciate y'all a ton.
More than welcome to come back on the show anytime.
Don't be careful because I'll take you up on that because this was a blast.
Listen, if I ain't got to talk, I'm good.
Look at your boy.
No, Denny want the LeBron schedule. I'll call out to.
Listen, no, Randy. When you get a guy that's cooking, when you get a guy that cooks like yourself, you know what I mean, that makes the same meals and is a great chef. You appreciate steel sharpening steel, like Randy. You don't cook. You don't cook as often, so you know what I mean. When you get a guy that can cook, you know what I'm saying. That's what it is.
Hold on. Now I'm catching strays. I'm stuck in the middle here, man. Hold on.
Oh, you know what, Kris? I got one question. 30 seconds.
Let's run it.
We were talking about KD, where he's at top whatever all time. We got him in the top 15. I'm saying he's top 10. My boy over here, I think he has him in the 15, but he has Dwayne Wade above Durant. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Wade won a championship as the number 1 and without a clear number 2. And for me personally, I know that I was not there for all the games in the past, for Russell, for Chamberlain, for Moses, for Hakeem.
Yo, move back, bro. Move back.
So I know that I wasn't there, but what I can learn very easily is who won, right? They keep score for a reason. It's so that they know who won because winning means something. I'm going to say winning means something, man. And KD has won at a very high level, but a lot of players have won at a high level as the second best player on their team. It's not a knock on Kevin Durant to say I would have him in that 15 to 20 range. It is just, I think there's a lot of talent that's from older in the game, like someone like Moses Malone, who will go slept on, but who I would say accomplished enough in their career to be over on that list.
But do you put D Wade above Durant? I'm talking about just the whole resume, the talent, the scoring, the winning. I'm talking about the whole package. D Wade over Durant.
I understand D Wade had his own little Warriors stint with Bosh and LeBron, but again, If KD won one with Russ and then went to Golden State and then failed in Brooklyn and failed in Phoenix, that's okay. But he would have done it on his own. But he didn't. And so I feel like we got to talk about it as such. Kevin Durant is one of the best, most talented basketball players to step foot on a court since the game was invented. And probably even if you had given the cavemen basketball, Kevin Durant would be one of the most talented players of all time, bar none. But that said, bar like 10, 15, because there are guys who got it done, who did it as a number one and as a number two, who did it wherever. And I think the same way that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like, he was with Oscar and then he was with Magic. And I understand he got a lot of flack in his era for his social justice takes that were not popular at the time because they went against the grain, even though he was right on a lot of stuff. And I think the people who hated on him at the time would even say so now, that he was right about a lot of the stuff that had them angry. The reason he's penciled in at number 3 all time is the longevity of the career, the length, the sustained winning, the championships, the success. Hakeem Olajuwon did it as a number 1, but he's not over Kareem on most all-time lists. I get the longevity, the talent, the ability, the overall resume has its place, but I don't think it can leapfrog KD over some guys out there. Like, it's tough for me to get into I have it in my notes app somewhere. I have my list somewhere.
I just want to know, are you putting Dwayne Wade above Kevin Durant? Don't circle around the answer. You give me D-Wade or Durant. Don't give me all the bro. If you see D-Wade and Durant outside in the park and you got to pick someone to be your teammate, who you picking, Durant or D-Wade?
Teammate?
Different.
I was gonna say one-on-one tournament. You give me KD every day.
Yes, KD.
5-on-5, 5-on-5,
bro. And you
prime,
can also say
Flash.
You can also say this: do the Warriors win again if they don't have Durant on the roster?
Give me prime Flash, but give me KD's career. So I will say KD because of the career.
Thank you. Now the show is over. Now the show is officially a wrap because that's KD is above. I love D-Wade. I love D-Wade. I think KD is above D-Wade.
For me, very quick, I know you said 10. MJ, Braun, Hakeem, Magic, Bird, Kobe, TD, Kareem, Russ, Shaq, Wilt. That's 12, I believe, that I would have over KD. So KD definitely not in my 10. And like, listen to the names that I had over him. I'm not disrespecting KD, I promise. It's just those are the names that I have over him.
Yeah, I hear you. Kris, my man, thank you. We appreciate you. Denny Blanco, thank you. I appreciate you. I know what's happening soon, all right?
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all a ton. Thank you for having me on. This was so much fun.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
No problem.